Have you ever found yourself in a work environment where things felt off? Maybe it's that colleague who always knows how to charm the boss, smoothly winning favor while the quieter, more capable people seem overlooked. Or perhaps you've noticed cliques forming. Those inside the circle thrive, and anyone outside it feels increasingly isolated. In multicultural workplaces, these dynamics become even more complicated, with unspoken biases around race or nationality adding to the mix. And before you know it, you're in a place where people care more about how things look on the surface than what's really being accomplished. These situations can leave us feeling frustrated, questioning why effort and talent don't always lead to recognition. But this is more than just office politics. It's a subtle game of manipulation and perception, and if we're not careful, it can shape the way we behave and think without us even realizing it. Today, we'll explore what's going on behind these toxic dynamics, how manipulation takes root, and what we can do to stay grounded and true to ourselves in environments like this. The logic of manipulation. At the heart of manipulation is emotional influence. It's about making others feel indebted, important, or included, often in ways that bypass rational thinking. Robert Cialdini's work on persuasion explains that humans are wired to reciprocate kindness. When someone offers compliments or goes out of their way to show support, we instinctively feel we owe them something in return, whether it's loyalty, trust, or even turning a blind eye to their flaws. In a workplace setting, this tactic can look innocent at first. Small favors, praise at just the right moment, or friendly gestures. But over time, these seemingly harmless acts can evolve into powerful tools of influence. When decisions are made not based on facts or performance, but on emotional connections, manipulation takes hold. Leaders, drawn in by flattery, might unknowingly reward charm over competence, and entire teams can find themselves navigating a landscape where appearances trump substance. This dynamic feeds a false narrative. If you're not actively engaging in these emotional exchanges, you risk being left out. The message becomes clear: either you play along or you get sidelined. But this isn't a real dilemma, it's a distorted view of relationships in the workplace. Authenticity and adaptability aren't opposites. They can and should coexist. Prejudice in cross-cultural workplaces. In multicultural environments, manipulation is further complicated by hidden biases. It's human nature to categorize others, but these categories can lead to unfair stereotypes. Maybe employees from a certain nationality are seen as lazy, or others are assumed to be overly competitive. These judgments aren't usually based on facts. They're the result of cognitive shortcuts, our brain's way of simplifying the world. This kind of bias aligns with what psychologists call confirmation bias. We notice behaviors that fit our preconceived ideas and ignore anything that contradicts them. For example, a manager with unconscious biases might interpret neutral actions from certain employees as confirmation of negative stereotypes. Over time, these assumptions create invisible barriers within the team, dividing people into in-groups and out-groups. In such environments, trust erodes and interactions become transactional. Everyone is careful about what they say, trying to avoid being labeled or excluded. The French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre's famous phrase, "Hell is other people," captures this perfectly. When people are stuck in an environment where they constantly have to manage impressions and protect themselves from judgment, work becomes a struggle not of tasks, but of relationships. How to stay clear-headed and balanced. So how do we navigate these dynamics without losing ourselves? It starts with developing critical thinking. When someone flatters you or offers unsolicited kindness, it's worth pausing to ask, why now? What's the motive behind this? This isn't about being cynical, but about being mindful. When we step back from emotional reactions, we gain clarity and can make decisions based on logic, not manipulation. Another key is to actively challenge stereotypes. When we feel irritated or confused by a colleague's behavior, it helps to shift perspectives. Ask yourself, is this really about incompetence or could it be cultural differences at play? Philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein said, "The limits of my language mean the limits of my world." Expanding our understanding of others' behaviors and motivations makes it easier to see beyond biases and work more effectively across cultures. Finally, the most important thing is to find a balance between authenticity and adaptability. It's easy to think that fitting in requires giving up who you are, but that's not the case. Adaptability doesn't mean abandoning your values, it means being flexible without losing your core identity. The Stoics remind us that while we can't control the world around us, we can control how we respond to it. In a toxic environment, this might mean not engaging in manipulative games while still finding ways to navigate the system with integrity. Manipulation and bias are realities we may encounter in any workplace, especially in cross-cultural settings, but they don't have to define our experience. The key is to understand what's happening beneath the surface, to recognize manipulation when we see it, dismantle stereotypes when they arise, and choose how we respond with intention. When we stay true to ourselves while remaining open and adaptable, we create a space where we can thrive, even in challenging environments. The real power lies in maintaining clarity, in not getting caught up in appearances or emotional games, but in focusing on what truly matters. And when we do that, we not only protect our own well-being, but also contribute to building healthier, more meaningful connections in the workplace.